Once upon a time, in the land of Israel, lived a man named Naboth. He owned a beautiful vineyard that had been passed down through his family for generations. The vineyard wasn't just a place to grow grapes for Naboth, it was a connection to his ancestors and a promise for his future generations. He poured his love and labor into the land, carefully tending to each vine. It was his pride and joy. Naboth had a neighbor, a powerful king named Ahab, who lived in a grand palace. Ahab had many riches and possessions, but he longed for Naboth's vineyard. The king thought it would be perfect for a beautiful garden right next to his palace. One day, King Ahab approached Naboth with an offer. He proposed to buy the vineyard from him, even offering him a much larger and more fertile piece of land in exchange. Ahab believed his offer was more than fair, even generous. Naboth listened respectfully to the king's offer but politely refused. He explained that the vineyard was his family inheritance, passed down from his ancestors. He couldn't bear to part with something so precious and meaningful, no matter the price. Ahab was shocked and angered by Naboth's refusal. How could a simple farmer refuse the offer of a king? Ahab returned to his palace, sulking and fuming. He couldn't understand why Naboth wouldn't accept his offer. Ahab's wife, the cunning Queen Jezebel, found him brooding in his chambers. She learned about the vineyard and Naboth's refusal. Unlike Ahab, who felt a mix of anger and shame, Jezebel was outraged. She believed a king should have whatever his heart desires. She whispered to him, "Don't you worry, my king. I will get you that vineyard. You are the king, and no one can defy you." Jezebel, a woman known for her ruthlessness, devised a wicked plan. She knew she couldn't simply take the vineyard by force. She needed a way to discredit Naboth and make him look guilty of a crime. She decided to use the power of lies and deception. Jezebel sent out messengers in Ahab's name, calling for a fast and a public assembly. She secretly instructed them to find 2 wicked men who would agree to falsely accuse Naboth of a terrible crime, blasphemy against God and the king. The men, promised a handsome reward, readily agreed to Jezebel's scheme. The day of the assembly arrived, and Naboth, unaware of the plot against him, joined the crowd. He stood among his neighbors, trusting in his innocence and his good reputation. Then the 2 wicked men stepped forward. With loud voices, they accused Naboth of cursing God and King Ahab. They claimed to have heard him speak these blasphemous words with their own ears, even though it was a complete fabrication. The crowd was shocked and horrified by the accusations. Naboth was given no chance to defend himself. Jezebel had made sure of that. The people, influenced by the false witnesses and the queen's manipulation, quickly turned against Naboth. They believed the lies and condemned him as guilty. With the crowd against him, Naboth was dragged out of the city and stoned to death. His own neighbors, swayed by lies and fear, participated in the horrific act. His vineyard, soaked in the blood of injustice, was left unattended. News of Naboth's death and the theft of his vineyard reached the prophet Elijah. Elijah was a man of God, known for his courage and his ability to speak truth to power. God spoke to Elijah, revealing the depths of Jezebel's wickedness and Ahab's weakness. God instructed Elijah to confront Ahab and Jezebel with their sins. He was to deliver a message of judgment and pronounce the consequences of their actions. Elijah, filled with righteous anger, went to find the king. Elijah found Ahab admiring his newly acquired vineyard. Without hesitation, Elijah condemned Ahab and Jezebel for their greed, their deceit, and their utter disregard for God's laws. He prophesied that Ahab's dynasty would fall, and both he and Jezebel would meet a grim end. Ahab, shaken by the prophet's words, realized the gravity of his sin. He repented, but his repentance was too little, too late. God, although merciful, is also just. The consequences of their actions would still come to pass, a reminder that even the most powerful are subject to divine justice. The story of Naboth's vineyard serves as a powerful reminder that justice and righteousness are paramount in God's eyes. It teaches us that power and wealth should never be used to exploit others or take what rightfully belongs to them. The legacy of Naboth's vineyard reminds us that respect for human life, fairness, and the sanctity of inheritance are values that we must always uphold.